And we're live. Hey everyone, I'm Eli. This is Chris. Welcome back to episode 2 of How to Become a Screenwriter. Last time we tackled log lines and concepts, just as like the first intro episode. And today we're digging into the more like, you know, the bigger ideas,
the meat and taters,
screenwriting, the meat and taters of screenwriting and story. So today we're tackling story and plot. Kind of the 4 big things that we'll be tackling over the next couple are story, plot, theme, and conflict. Today's story and plot. Next time is theme and conflict. So we'll
touch a little bit on theme today because it very much
all 4 of those are very interconnected. So yeah, it's tough to separate the meat from the taters to use that again. Anyway, but we're gonna get into this. Hope you learned something today. As you know, or you would know if you watched episode 1, but we have 3 rules around here. You know what they are?
I know what they are.
Yeah, well, you're about to know what they are. Rule number 1, if you learn anything about the art of screenwriting today, you must subscribe.
Must subscribe.
Must. If you learn anything about your screenplay, you have to subscribe.
Must.
And rule number 3, if you have any fun at all at any point, you have to subscribe.
And if you don't, we'll send a guy.
Yeah, we'll send a guy. You better watch out.
He's not going to do anything to you. He's just going to get on your computer and subscribe.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure you're subscribed by that point.
And our lawyer said we needed to clarify that after the last episode.
Yeah, there were some complaints.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyway, no. Let's get into this.
So let's zoom way out. Let's talk about story first.
Yeah. So I guess a lot of people will ask like straight off the bat, we're talking about story and plot. What's the difference, Chris? Like why are we?
If you've never asked yourself that question before, it is astonishingly hard to answer, as it may be for you, the viewing audience. Yeah. So it's like story and plot. Well, I don't know. Yeah. And we got the most helpful breakdown in our workshop that we did last year. The story is what happens. It's all the events. It's all the things. Like, if you think about Jaws, it includes everything. It includes all the past attacks. It includes Roy's whole backstory as a cop and all that stuff that happened to him and why he's fearful and why he moved, all those things. Yeah. So the story is the what, plot is the how. It's like, okay, how am I going to tell that story? I can start at the beginning of a movie and show a shark attack and another shark attack and another shark attack. Then we can jump to New York or wherever it was that he was from. We can see him being a cop and we can see that whole thing happen. That would not be a very.
So it's like the non-linear, like non-chronological aspects.
Sometimes it could be linear.
Yeah.
But like 1917.
And it's also
amazing.
like how is like, how is also like how it's shot and how it's like. What you're showing exactly.
Right.
How you're depicting things. So like 1917 is a good example.
Yep. How
the story is told is in one continuous, shot, even though it's not, hidden cuts.
Yeah.
But it's not just that like it's chronological or that kind of thing. It's that you are, I guess, so like in the story.
Yeah.
Like that's the illusion of it.
So if story and plot are the meat and taters, then theme and conflict are like the salad and the green beans, right?
That's right.
So we're going to talk just a little bit about the green beans, just a little bit. So story is what happens, plot is how it happens, and theme is why it happens. And theme will have a massive impact on the plot. It doesn't impact the story. I mean, theme shows up in the story, and you look at a whole story, and there could be different themes that you pull out of that. The Godfather could be about how power corrupts, or it could be about how you get trapped in your family structures, which those are the 2 themes of the movie, kind of as it is. Yeah. But you could also just say it's the power of the triumph of a tight-knit family. Yep. And you could tell the same story, you could tell the same events.
Very different message.
Very differently. Because the theme is driving a completely different idea. So the theme really very functionally affects the plot, i.e. how you tell the story.
Yeah. So you have the what, the how, the why. And then conflict isn't necessarily another question. It's more just like you don't have story, plot, or theme without conflict.
Right. Because if your character doesn't grow or change, or if there's not some dynamic movement uphill or downhill, if there's not, redemption or destruction, if there's not some movement, and it's a boring story.
Yeah. So
I have a documentary about making cardboard boxes.
Yeah, exactly. No one wants to watch that.
Right.
Yeah. So let's think about that practically. I'm writing my screenplay.
I was just going to say because there's a couple ways you could go at Sky King. Like I've been thinking about that so much.
Yeah. So if I'm writing, so I talked about it in the last episode, but just to give you the quick version, I'm writing a true story about an incident back in a couple years ago where a guy took an airplane up. A Bergen man took an airplane up, stole an airplane.
He was an airplane mechanic, so he had legal access to be on the airport.
He was an airport
and stuff,
worker.
and he was like,
he stole an empty airplane, and there's like a 45-minute call with the tower where they're just talking with him, and the FBI is involved, and they're trying to get him down safely, and all this. It's a crazy story, but I'm sitting there like, writing it, and I'm like, so the story is all there. What happens is all there.
Yep.
The plot,
yeah,
how you tell it is crucial to that. So like, how do I want to tell it? And the main perspective I decided to go with was, what if you never see the guy in the plane? What if it's all air traffic control?
Yeah.
And so that perspective, I guess you could say that's the plot.
Yeah.
And then conflict, FBI is there and they're worried that, he's up to something dangerous.
I mean, because he could fly the plane into a building.
Totally.
Even just through ineptitude, he could crash it into a residential area. I mean, there's tons of high risk scenarios.
Yeah. So there's plenty of conflict to be had. And then theme is actually something I struggled with for a while, and I'm not going to spoil that today because we have a whole episode on theme.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's what we call a tease.
That's right. So that's just like a quick Cliff Notes version of, I guess, applying each of those things.
Because it's a great example. It's the reason I asked, because I'm thinking about, like, you could go at this from the perspective of the guy who steals the plane. It's the same events. It's a very different
and it's a
idea.
Totally valid perspective to
Absolutely.
have. It's not like one way is the right way.
Totally.
It
could be it could be the perspective of that dude's parents when they learn that he's, doing this crazy thing.
Yep.
It could be from the perspective, like you said, of the ATC controller.
Yeah.
And what else
it could be from all of them.
Right.
It could be more like structured more like a not to make it this, but more like a Michael Bay movie where you're like going, from Will Smith to Jeff Goldblum to Will Smith's wife to So and
it's your job as a screenwriter to think of as many different angles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, here's my event set.
Here's my story.
And your real job, and this is what separates, bad from good from great, is somebody who can look at that story and consider all the different ways that you could tell that story and all the different reasons you could tell that story, and then pick one that's really interesting and accessible.
Yeah. Great writers will always look at the individual events in the story and be like, what's the most interesting way that I can show this event happen?
That's the work. Like the writing is fun. I mean, I'm not saying the writing is not work. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's a lot of these things that are not typing on a keyboard that are a huge part.
Totally. I can't tell you how many times I've started a scene and I'm like, all right, I know what I need to accomplish in this scene, but before I do, it's almost like it's not journalism.
Right.
But I can't help but think of journalism when I say it to myself. But when I start a scene, I'm always like, okay, for this thing, I know where I'm starting and I know where I have to end up, but I need an angle.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, and that's great too. And we'll talk about this later, about there being an angle to every scene. Like every scene needs to move somewhere.
Yeah.
If you have scenes that are just like, and here's what happened, you can have a couple of those. There's times that those can be used strategically. But you always want something emotionally, as far as risks and stakes and development, you want something moving in every single scene.
And movie. To that point, like I think a good way to put it is like you always need an interesting or captivating perspective.
Yep.
Not necessarily not even necessarily a perspective of a character.
Right.
It could be the perspective of like, it could be as simple as I'm starting the scene at this specific point.
Yep.
Because it's interesting to me.
Right. Right.
Or I'm telling this scene like back to front in a sense, or like you can mess with anything. It doesn't just have to be, okay, instead of the main character's perspective, we're going to tell it from,
Yeah.
But yeah. So, okay, zooming out real quick. Story and plot, as far as it applies to, because this is episode 2, we're talking to the fledgling screenwriters who are staring at the blank page on page 1.
Or are staring at the 40-page pile of mess that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So zoom out and let's talk about how story and plot, how we can, use those things well in our script and turn our mess of 40 pages or a blank page into a cohesive story.
Yep.
With a good plot.
Yes.
So if you are anywhere near, if you are a screenwriter, if you are friends with a screenwriter, if you are the mom of a screenwriter, if you are a screenwriter's girlfriend's,
barista.
Dog's barista, whatever, you've heard of the 3-act structure. There are 3 acts to a story traditionally. This comes from Aristotle and, ancient Greece and all that. You have Act 1, which is the setup. Who are these people? Why do I care about them? Act 2, confrontation. What obstacles must they overcome? Act 3, resolution. How do they overcome or fall victim to those obstacles? And of course, there are alternate structures. Sometimes there's 5 acts and whatnot.
But the 3 has settled down into a thing that we've come to expect.
Totally.
And it's a thing, and I don't mean just like because we've been watching movies for 20 years or 40 years or 50 years or whatever, but it really feels like it's sort of deeply baked into our human psychology that like the 3-act structure works really, really well.
100%. That said, I will say the 5-act structure works better for TV, I feel like, generally.
Yeah.
Not to say, like, TV doesn't have setup, confrontation, resolution.
But I think of it, I think of a season of television drama serial as like an 8-hour movie or a 12-hour movie.
Yeah.
That's a completely different mindset than, 90-minute.
Totally. Yeah. But there is something to that where it's like, we are kind of, I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but I think we definitely we walk into the movie theater expecting setup, confrontation.
Yeah. If I'm going to be here for 2 hours less, I may not even know what to call it, but I have this expectation of like, kind of there's going to be
totally. And occasionally like some movies will get away with like The Dark Knight is a 4-act movie,
right?
For example. But that's just like, I feel like there's an asterisk there because it's like, it's Batman. Yeah, I'll stick around for 30 more minutes of Batman doing
for sure. Stuff, and also like, because you can look at a number of Nolan films. Oh, he broke all kinds of rules.
Totally.
But he also mastered the simple set first.
Yeah.
Like mastered the 3-act screenplay.
Yeah. He knows why he's breaking the rules.
Exactly. And if you know why and you can defend why, then that's fine.
If you have a good reason why.
Yep.
Great. Now, the thing is that the 3-act structure isn't super helpful when writing a screenplay other than just like I have these 3 sections that I need to fill. But a feature script is 100 to 110 pages ish. And that's like, if you're telling me Act 1 is 1 through 25, and you're saying get to page 25 to accomplish, to finish
you have to
your
accomplish
Act 1,
these things.
You have to accomplish these things in 25 pages, and you're like, well, I don't exactly know how to start that. And then Act 2 is even more daunting. The amount of writers that get lost in Act 2, me included, is crazy. And then by that point, like, you might not even make it to Act 3.
If only there was something that like said, these elements need to be in Act 1, and these elements need to be in Act 2, and these elements need to be Act 3.
Man,
somebody could make some bucks if there was like something like that.
Yeah, if only.
Yes, we're being facetious because there are several things that help you fill in those gaps.
Just a few. Not many, but a few. No.
And they are all based on the same Aristotelian thought from centuries ago.
Yep. So let me pull things up here. Boom. Oh, that's much smaller.
That's not helpful at all.
No, not at all. Whatever. It's all right. We'll be okay with it like this.
Yeah.
So many writers have, and just like screenplay people in general, Robert McKee, Blake Snyder, all those kinds of people, Sid Field, have tried to come up with outline beat sheets for people to follow when writing their screenplay. All of them are like roughly 3x structure, but they define more landmarks along the way.
More or less.
For you to hit. More or less. So like, for example, Save the Cat is very specific. Like you have your setup, pages 1 through 10, where you state your theme, often in an offhanded comment or in a joking way, to where it's like not a big deal at first, within those first 10 pages. And then you have your catalyst or inciting incident on page 12. You have your debate about whether or not the hero pursues the story, which is initiated by the inciting incident. And then you have your break into Act 2, which is the point of no return for the hero. He's off into the unknown world, and the story really kicks in.
He either says no, and I'm going to have a crappy life, or I'm going to say yes, and I have no idea what I'm saying yes to.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that is so much more helpful than, here's pages 1 through 25.
Go.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
The way I like to think of this whole thing, and you can call them tent poles, you can call them beats, I've heard them called a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But so I think about writing as a story as I want to take my audience to Hawaii. I want to take them somewhere amazing. When they get there, they're just going to like step off the plane. They're going to step out of the theater and they're going to go, wow, But when you like fly to Hawaii, you're just flying over the ocean, and it's a long ways, and there's like, it's pretty boring, but it's more like swimming from Los Angeles to Hawaii. And it's like, well, you can't even see the destination from the beginning. Like all you can see is the water. And what these beats, tent poles, whatever you want to call them, what's really cool is it's like an island that you can just see on the horizon. It's like, well, I can get to there. Like I can figure out how to get to there. And then when I get to that one, I can see the next one. And it's like, okay, I can figure out how to get to the next one. And man, it just simplifies. It doesn't simplify, but it makes, it takes the dauntingness down by a factor of like 6. Because it's like you can start with, and you have to kind of work backwards. You have to define these beats really well. And that's a ton of work. Like that in and of itself is a ton of work.
Totally.
And you still haven't written a single page of your script. And you've done all this work on your log line, then you've done all this work on your one pager, then you've done all like really hard work to define these beats. But then if you do that work, like then the writing, it's not that it's simple and no big deal, but it's like, it's fun because it's like, I can see the thing that I have to write to get to. I'm not trying to get to Hawaii. I just have to get that little island that I can see.
Totally. Yeah. So that makes it just the whole process way more digestible. It really doesn't matter what formula you use, or if you use a formula at all. Like, I'm just saying it's helpful. It's helped me write better scripts.
Yeah, it's not a...
Whichever one you like will help you write a better script.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But to that point, all of them, all these, like, Robert McKee, Sid Field, Blake Snyder, all of them, more or less are some form or fashion of the hero's journey. So up here, I have a picture pulled up, very simple. If you're a writer of any kind, you've probably seen this, but hero's journey, circular journey. You can pause and read all this if you want. But it's very effective, I think, 8-beat, structure, breakdown formula. And that just like, it's a great litmus test for me, especially. Even if I already have my formula of like or I save the cat and I have, my 15 beats laid out and I have everyone filled in and everyone does something.
Right.
And it's great. Sometimes I just like throw in the hero's journey and fill it out. And it's like, oh, actually I am missing the concrete, abyss, death and rebirth at the bottom.
Yep.
That I need to solve for. So this is like much more, since everything else is kind of based on this one thing, I'd say, this is a very helpful kind of.
If you're going to get a tattoo as a screenwriter, that's
the one.
That's the one.
Faith, family.
That's right.
Hero's journey.
That's right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess all this to say, what I would like to sum up to you, the viewer, structure matters.
Matters a lot.
A lot. And I can hear it now, like the writer who's like, I like to go against the grain and all. That's fine. You can do you. I'm just telling you that the structure matters for a reason. You should pay attention to it, and it will do you good. Even if you end up ignoring structure, like filmmakers all the time ignore traditional movie structure.
Right.
But
successful ones only do that because they know why.
They know why. They know what makes traditional movie structure work. They know how to disobey the rules around it.
And here's a real real world example. Like if you are lucky enough to get someone who matters to read your script, to consider it, they may very well ask you, hey, why does this happen on page 75? Yep. What is that about? And if you can't say, because da-da-da-da-da-da, and if you take that out, then it doesn't tie these three things together or whatever. If you don't structurally understand your own story, doesn't mean your story has to follow some defined structure, but you need to be able to defend whatever structural element somebody has a question about. Because if you happen to be lucky enough to get a meeting with a showrunner or producer, whoever, who's going to look at your script, and they ask you a question, a lot of times they're going to ask you a structural question. They're not asking information. They're like, why is this critical to the story?
Yep.
Because a producer reads a script really differently. And we'll talk about this later. Different people are going to read your script for different reasons. If a producer is reading your script, one of the things they're reading is, how much is this movie going to cost? How much money do I have to
They're adding dollars in their head as they...
Right. And they're like, could I live without this scene? I mean, that scene would cost $128,000 probably. So what if I can live without that? Why do we need this?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know why they're asking the question, but usually they're asking a structural question. And so that is why understanding structure is absolutely critical.
Yeah. And any script in existence, even the ones without structure, quote unquote, have a structure. Like, it may not be a traditional story structure, but like No Country for Old Men breaks every structural rule in the book. And it has a structure.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
And it was the 15th, 16th, 20th film those guys have made?
Oh, I don't know. Like it's not their first.
No, not their first rodeo. And not just that they've made a bunch of films, they've made a bunch of wildly successful films.
Exactly.
So they're doing it because they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And the people around them who are greenlighting this and
Yeah.
giving them all this money are like, we trust you.
Exactly. Memento, we keep going back to these Nolan examples, we
are both massive Nolan fanboys here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Except for Tenet. Yeah. But hey, if you'd like to come join us, Chris, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, love to have you.
Yep. We're here.
We both love Tenet. And you can
wait. Hold on a second. Hold on. We need to do this right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Give me just 2 seconds.
Of course.
All right. All right, you ready? You need to start talking about how much we love Tenet.
Okay. All right. So first reason I love Tenet is just because it's the best. Whoa, I was suddenly taken back to the theater. I was suddenly taken back to the movie theater in 2020, watching Robert Pattinson,
mumble loud EDM music. It's like, what is going on? But
okay, anyway, back to.
I didn't mean. We can edit that out later.
Yeah, that's fine. Back to actually writing though. But yeah, structure matters. And every movie has a structure. Even the ones that don't have a traditional structure have a structure in that they have the things that happen on screen happen for a reason.
Yep. And if you take most of the movies that you love, you can put them up to this. And this is actually a fantastic exercise, is take 3 movies that you really like, put them up against this. Star Wars is so easy to map onto this. The original, New Hope, so easy to map. There are so many movies that you probably love that you can map straight onto that. The first Iron Man, there's tons and tons of movies.
Yeah.
If you look at it, you're like, oh, there is this common theme and there's this kind of way that works.
Yeah. And you might look at it and say, well, that's restrictive and I don't want to, be confined to these rules. I get it. The way I always look at screenwriting, like when you're screenwriting, you're confined to so many other rules.
Right.
Anyway, like it's like, there's very strict rules about formatting, no camera direction. You're expected to write a certain way. It's like structurally, I get if you can do whatever you want. But know that movies work for a reason.
Yep.
And
it's like, imagine this. Imagine you're 16, you've just gotten your driver's license, and your dad gives you a new car. And you're like, all right, man, I'm just going to drive. I just want to drive. I'm going to drive wherever I want, however I want. Like, I'm going to find the most direct path from A to B. It's like, hey, you're on the wrong side of the road. You're cutting through a parking lot. You are driving over a sidewalk. Hey, man, I just want to drive.
Totally.
It's like structure is your friend. Constraint is your friend. I think constraint is the friend of creativity.
100%. So I just got a great idea from our producer. We should talk through a couple films that relates to a hero's journey.
Yep.
And talk. So like you mentioned Star Wars, we can do that one. That's a really straightforward one. Yeah. Let's just like go through each beat and be like, all right, the hero. Luke Skywalker. Obviously. Call to adventure. What's the call to adventure in this, in Star Wars?
He gets the droid from the Jawas and he's like cleaning it up, and R2 plays this thing of this like beautiful princess.
Smoking hot chick.
Right.
Yeah. And
also
he's like,
sister, but
that's besides.
Yeah. Sorry, spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it. And he's like, whoa, who's this? And she's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, do you think he means Ben Kenobi?
Yep.
And now we're moving up to the threshold.
Yes. Threshold Guardians.
Yeah.
If you have multiple.
So he kind of scurries off to go see if Ben Kenobi is the same as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And what happens when he comes back?
Comes back and his aunt and uncle and their whole farm burned by the Empire. Destroyed completely. And that is the break into 2, really.
Yep.
And by break into 2, I mean crossing
the point of no return.
The point of no return. That's when when Luke sees that and knows that his home is gone. That's when like, oh, he's
he
gone.
has 2 choices. Like, okay, am I gonna like stay here?
Yep.
And and what? Like, we don't even have a good,
exactly.
There's no good answer to that question.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here in my burned out uncle's farm and whatever.
Yep.
Or
go off to the stars. So then they
step into the unknown.
Yeah. So then they,
the big unknown.
The big unknown. So then they get on the Millennium Falcon, Han and Chewie, and they go off and try to rescue the princess. And that is most of this, like, first, semicircle into the unknown until the abyss part.
So their helpers are Han and Chewie.
Yep.
Mentor is Obi-Wan.
Mentor is Ben Kenobi.
Yep.
And then all of this is, this kind of thing is called a variety of things and different formulas. It's called Fun and Games, and Blake Snyder's Save the Cat. But this is just them, in the trash compactor,
right,
rescuing the princess.
It's how they get to the abyss.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also called The Promise of the Premise.
Yes.
It's what you came to the movie to see. And a lot of times, like a lot of, shots from the trailer that made you want to go see it come from this portion of the story. So it's your job as the writer to deliver on the promise that you made. And then and
we get all the way to the Death Star.
We get all the way to the Death Star.
Yeah.
Very, quickly. And then the abyss.
Obi-Wan dies
just as
of Luke Skywalker's very eyes.
Yes, just as they get the princess out of there.
Yep.
And they escape the Death Star, but at what cost?
Yes.
So then, now we're in like a new section of the story.
This is also like in First Lord of the Rings. That's where Gandalf falls in the Mines of Moria.
Yep. At about I want to say that about the halfway point.
Yep.
That was So you'll find this kind of thing throughout, and it doesn't have to be a death necessarily for a character.
But Blake says it's always better if maybe a goldfish dies or something. He's like, it always works better if something dies.
Yeah. But however you cut it, it's always a low point for the hero.
Yep.
Yep. And then so Luke and friends head back to the Rebel Moon, where the rebels are holed up, and the Death Star is on its way because they have a tracking device on the Millennium Falcon, I think.
And they know they're next.
They're next
on the target list.
Yeah, and they have so much time to prepare. Yeah. So I was about to say, I was about to mention, wait a minute, where does the destruction of Leia's home planet play into this? But I don't know if it does.
I think that's in here because that happens before they get her.
Yeah. So I guess
because they bring her up there to watch it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so time is ticking. Death Star's on its way. They take off in the X-Wing. This latter part, I guess, transformation, atonement, return. Don't look at the distance between these arrows as like
exactly
space that you need to spread them out.
Yep.
They can transformation and then atonement and then return can happen. Boom, boom, boom. If you need them to, it's the order that matters.
And I think there's a very clear. So atonement sounds like, oh, that sounds real heavy and weird and woo woo or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in Star Wars, again, why it's a great example of this. There is a pristine moment of atonement.
Yes.
Do you know what it is? Or which, in your opinion, which is it? That's
I would say that, is it Han coming back and blasting Vader?
I was going to say it's when Luke puts his thing away and he's like, I'm going to use the Force. I'm just going to.
Okay, see,
I'm going to trust my guy. I'm going to do what Obi-Wan said. He's already made one run unsuccessfully. Everybody else, nobody's been able to hit the vent.
Right.
And then he's like, I'm turning this off and I'm going to.
Okay, in my mind, that's part of transformation. He's transforming.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then to me, it's like atonement. Han is atoning for abandoning them earlier.
Sold. Sold.
So
he one-upped me. Got me. That's
boom,
good.
baby. And notice transformation. Luke puts down his aiming system before Han comes back. It's like very climactic point.
Yeah, and that actually, you're right. You're exactly right. This is why film students are better than non-film students, because that's also the point when Luke decides to embrace the Force rather than kind of like grappling with it. He's like, no, I'm gonna lean into this thing.
Yep.
That apparently is in me to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of time between Abyss and Transformation.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, even though like on here the arrow is so short, you'd think those are 5 pages apart.
Right.
No. But so Transformation, Atonement, and then Return happen quite quickly to each other, all at the climax.
Well, the resolution in a good story, in a movie anyway, in a screenplay sense, happens quickly. Like it's hey, like don't linger in like my instructor said, don't linger in the afterglow of the reconciliation, the climax.
Yeah. When
like
the problem solves.
When the problem solved, like 3 to 5 pages and roll end credits.
Yep. And that's exactly what Star Wars does. I think we Death Star blows up, cut to
their medals.
Award ceremony,
right.
Credits roll.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
So that's that. That's Star Wars for you. And I think like that's probably the example. I don't know. It's just like the immediate movie that I think of when I think of like the perfect
fits so
formula.
Neatly. It fits so neatly.
It's way too good.
And what's wild about that is it was written very differently. Mm-hmm. The first cut was super different. Like there was all kinds of other stuff. There's a really great YouTube video on how Star Wars changed between final draft of the script, production, and edit. And it's really, really fascinating.
It was totally saved in the edit.
Totally. And what was funny is this is the structure that he finally got to in the edit.
Yeah.
But the original raw materials went kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And we'll put links to this in the description. But a couple of books we're talking about: Story by Robert McKee, Save the Cat by Blake Snyder, and
Screenplay by Sid Field.
By Sid Field.
Yep. I'll recommend read all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to be loyal to one guy.
Absolutely. If you get on the web, you're gonna find, there's like McKee people and there's Snyder people, and it's like, no, they're all really helpful. Because there was like, and we'll talk about this more as we get into like the nuts and bolts of scenes and stuff like that. But there's a way that that Snyder talks about how the emotion and it's two things: the emotion and the plot have to move one way or the other in every scene. I didn't totally connect with that.
Yeah, he framed it like a math equation, almost.
Right?
Like positives and negatives.
Exactly. Like you have a plus and a minus and an up arrow and a down arrow. It's like, okay, I sort of get that. But then we'll talk about the but if then but then therefore and then.
Yes,
we'll talk about that exercise at another point. That like suddenly Blake Snyder's thing clicked for me.
Yeah,
that came from a completely different source. So all these things are really worthwhile. They're all worth reading, and you will take different aspects from them and then assemble them into your own kind of structural understanding. That's really, really, really helpful.
Yes, 100%. Our producer says, I don't know if you've watched it recently. I don't know if I recall enough of the movie to be able to go beat by beat for Hero's Journey for it, but Tommy Boy. I
totally
remember. Yeah, I remember the major things.
Completely different kind of movie. But
totally,
absolutely tracked.
Totally, I remember the major beats, but you might have to help me.
No. I haven't seen it in. I bet I haven't watched that movie in 20 years.
Okay,
but we might do a little addendum. We might come back just for that.
Yeah, totally.
We might even do we could do a Hero's Journey insert and just come take like 5 films and just go here.
Totally. Yeah.
Really different films, and it's like, oh yeah, they all kind of do that.
Yeah. You, the viewer, double feature tonight. All right. Star Wars, Tommy Boy, back to back. And just look for the formula because it's so there.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah. That'd be amazing. And hey, if you're still with us at this point, you really need to subscribe.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you haven't, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're like 40 minutes into this.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You're either on your way to being a great screenwriter or you have no life.
Yeah.
Either way, subscribe.
Or you just press start and walked away from your computer.
Right.
And,
so when you come back, subscribe.
Yeah. When you come back, subscribe. Do you want to talk about but, therefore, and then real fast?
We could. Yeah.
Get into cause and effect.
Yeah. That's actually.
Yeah. More generally. So like, story, what happens in your story, how you tell what happens in your story is very important.
So
what's just as important.
Let's assume we've read some books and we have these before we've written a page of our script. We have identified these beats, tent poles, story elements, whatever you want to call them. So we have our story in mind, and we've decided on a plot. We've decided on a perspective and a theme and how we're going to tell this story. And so now we've got our plot points, our beats.
Yeah.
It's really important that your scenes and your beats move the viewer to the next thing. Like there needs to be emotional motion.
You're always getting pushed or pulled along.
Always, always.
Yes.
And a really amazing thing is once you've kind of like roughed out your story into beats.
Scene by scene outline.
Yep. At the end of each scene, you look at the scene before it and you decide if it is, okay, scene 1 is to get to scene 2 is a but, then scene 2 happens, or is it a therefore scene 2 happens, or is it a and then scene 2 happens? And if you have, say you have a 30-page kind of treatment.
Yeah.
If you have more than 3 and then this happens, you have more work to do. Because that but means that you have changed direction. That means conflict has happened. That means you've taken a step backwards. Your hero's taken a step backwards in their goal. Mm-hmm. If it's therefore the next scene happens, that means that what happened in scene 1 drove the action to cause scene 2 to be what happens next. Yep. So that driving or that opposition is what makes every scene mean something.
If and then is there, then that means scene 2 is there because you, the writer, need it there.
Exactly.
And no other reason.
Or you really liked it.
Yeah, or you really liked it. And you have work to do. You need to make it a but or therefore.
Right. And it's okay to have a couple. Like, it is totally okay to have a couple.
Yeah.
But it really needs to be minimal.
It needs to be rare.
Yep.
And I guarantee you the best of all time, the greatest of all time movies have little to none. You will not find barely any,
Right.
Like every scene should have a purpose.
And it's not about action. It can totally be dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Guy Ritchie's movie, The Gentleman. There's a big, huge hunk of that movie that's a conversation between two guys in a room. I mean, it's probably 20, 30 minutes of the movie. But that conversation, like how that conversation happens and where they move to in and out of that conversation.
Totally. Give Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, dude.
A watch.
Dude.
That's
so good.
That's just like, you don't need, depending on your story, you may not need multiple it's all about how the characters interact.
Yep.
And I'm going to hit on this again when we get to the characters episode later on. But one of my favorite things that I've ever heard was your screenplay. Just to sum it all up, your screenplay is one big family dinner. And I thought that is awesome.
That's fantastic.
If you think about it like that, So, but yeah, like on the scene level, just like making sure it has a purpose. It's there to drive story forward, or character forward, or both.
Yep.
Another thing that I like to think about when writing it is try to make every scene your favorite one.
Ooh, that's a great word. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
Because if you don't feel great about a scene, other people aren't going to either,
right. So yeah, like statistically, everyone is probably going to be less excited about your thing than you. Maybe it's just a little bit, but
yeah, even if you're the most
you need to be, if you're going to sell your script, you need to be in love with your script. So
yes,
if there's something in your script you don't love, either 86 it, which means delete it, or
make it so you love it.
Or make it so you love it. Yeah.
Yep. And real quick before we run out of time, just some of the finer story and plot points that I wanted to touch on that I think would be helpful. Escalation and stakes.
Yeah.
Are like two related, I would say, aspects that are kind of important.
Yeah.
And when you're writing, keeping the audience hooked is very, very, or keeping the reader hooked is extremely important. I heard this from a professor of mine, don't give the person reading a reason to not turn the page.
Right.
You know?
Right. If you wanted to see a masterclass in raising the stakes throughout the entire movie, Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. Talk about a stressful
because
movie.
You think the movie's almost over, and then he raises the stakes to a whole different level, and you're
sitting there like, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And don't raise the stakes artificially. Like there are so many times where I've seen screens, or I've seen movies, honestly, where just some random thing happens that doesn't have any real basis in the thing, but it's like, well, why is that there? Well, we needed to raise the stakes. It's like, that's not.
To that point, keeping the stakes personal.
Yeah.
It's way more important than making the stakes big.
Absolutely.
Like, it's fine if you have world-ending stakes, like everyone on Earth.
Then the way you raise the stakes is you make a multiverse, and now you can lose the universe. That's how that works.
Yeah, not naming names.
No,
completely unrelated. Kevin Feige, if you want to come in the chair, then you're more than welcome.
Love to have you.
But no, the stakes. I don't care about the multiverse threatening the reality of whatever.
Right.
I care about how the obstacles, whatever they may be, affect the hero.
Yeah.
I want to care about the hero.
Exactly. You got to care about the hero.
Yep. And sometimes I would say more than a lot of these huge, big budget superhero movies where everything's at stake.
Everything's at stake all the time.
Yeah. I care way more about the rear windows where it's like, dude in an apartment the whole movie wondering if one person has died.
Right.
You know, I care more about that than the world is at stake.
Because of the way it's written.
Because of the way it's written.
Yep.
So, yeah. And then one more fine point, like escalation. So you have escalation and stakes. Twists and reversals.
Yep.
In your story. Plot twists are a big, talking point. I feel like it's always, I saw that one coming, or
right,
or this plot twist creates, however many plot holes in the story, and if you really think about it, then yada yada yada. Just a couple rules when there are some great plot twists out there. M. Night Shyamalan, for better or for worse, is known for them.
First one was great.
Yeah,
first one was mind blowing,
dude. Yeah, but and then, now it's like you're looking for it.
Yeah, you're kind of like, twist? This is his thing.
All right, we're about 90 minutes in. Right. It should be coming around the corner.
About 3 or 4 minutes from the aha.
Yeah.
But I mean, amazing. He's accomplished a lot of stuff. He's made a lot more movies than I have. So
yeah, and then if you want a really good twist, just aside, watch The Prestige.
Oh, I was literally just going to say
it's another
Prestige. It's another
not to fanboy over Nolan again. That is a masterful twist. Masterful, dude.
Yeah. And you care about the characters.
Yes. So to that point, good twists. If you're wondering what makes them good, to me, it's two things. The twist should never be predictable, but it should be inevitable.
Oh, I like
it was
that.
Always going to happen,
right,
but you can't see it coming.
Right. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then number 2, the twist needs to have immediate repercussions for characters.
Yeah.
It has to affect them somehow right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's like
the audience doesn't want to watch them think about it.
Yeah. If it's like
demands immediate action.
Not to spoil anything, but like I See Dead People and all that, it doesn't have the same effect if
If
Bruce Willis turns around and it's like,
right.
Let me have a scene where I think on this for a while.
Yeah, I'll get it. It'll occur to me on my way home. I've gone to the store to pick up milk.
Yeah.
I'm walking home and I'm like,
oh, that's what. Whoa.
Yeah.
Because by that point, it's like you want your audience to experience the shock with your characters, I guess. You know, and another little point, don't make it a shock just to have shock.
And by the way,
shock value is not very valuable.
Right. Throwing no shade on M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the dude is written like, I don't even know many ridiculously great stories.
100%.
And every one of those films.
Sixth Sense is masterful.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And Signs is also amazing. I mean, I like a lot of his films. They're really, really worth studying because one of the things that he masters is it's always about the stakes to the hero. It's always like you always care about it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, totally. And a great thing to kind of sum up, I guess, the whole story and plot and driving your story forward through different beats or different structural moments or landmarks or like that whole adventure that you're going to go on when you write your script. I think it's always helpful to remember specifically, this has helped me in the past when I get kind of like in the mud or I'm like, not sure what to do here. Your screenplay is entirely just this thing, okay? In your script, action triggers emotion and emotion triggers action.
Cool.
It's cyclical like that.
Yeah. Sure.
Your hero does something or something happens. It makes him feel a certain way. And then based on the way he feels or she, you do another thing.
Dude, this is a little bit of an aside, but you just clarified my complete apathy towards MCU properties now.
Yeah.
Because they are all action and they're, for me, like the emotion, left that storyline 5 years ago.
Yeah. Same here.
I mean, you watch Iron Man, you watch Thor, you watch those first like 5 movies, maybe 5 or 6 movies. And the emotional arc was a huge part of the story.
Yeah. Because they had the bedrock.
Absolutely.
Laid. Yeah.
But now it's like, well, we have 8 characters that you may or may not know what's going on with them. And and it's always the end of everything, always.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's like
so it's all action, no emotion.
Yeah, you might have
that's so clarifying.
You might have one solo movie of this Avenger, but
right.
The rest of the Avengers were like, oh, that one was introduced in Incredibles 3, and that one, right. and that one was a supporting character in Disney Plus show number 37.
Exactly.
And it's just like,
no, that's super important, man. Super important because, I mean, maybe there are a lot of people. Obviously, there are a lot of people who go for the spectacle, and that's great. And I'm not just talking about like superhero movies and stuff, but for me, like when I pay money to go see a movie at the theater, or even if I'm going to like carve out 2 hours of time, which is the most valuable commodity any of us have.
Yeah.
If I'm going to carve out a couple hours to watch a movie, I want to friggin' feel something.
Totally.
And you can't just spectacle your way to that.
Yeah. That said,
even the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. And if you felt stuff, it was like,
yeah. And the example that comes to mind for me, like just being like, spectacle isn't bad. It just needs to be spectacle with a purpose.
Absolutely. Go back to Star Wars Episode 4. Well, actually, that whole first trilogy, like gobs of action and spectacle, but also gobs of like emotional investment.
Yeah, it was never. The punches were never thrown just because they needed to be.
Right. Exactly.
It's always characters.
Yep.
A great example to me is Independence Day.
Yeah.
All spectacle, world-ending stakes.
Yep. But you care about every one
of the characters.
Yep. Even Randy Quaid.
Yeah. Even him.
The guy who saves the day.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I got for this
Yeah, no, that was really good. That was I love these episodes because I always learn something new. I always come away like a better equipped.
Therefore,
for my next project.
Exactly. Therefore, you are subscribed.
That's right.
Right.
I am a subscriber.
There you go.
I am indeed.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, that is all we got for this one. Next one we'll be tackling is like kind of a part 2 to this theme and conflict.
Salad and green beans.
Salad and
if you want to stay with our
gotta eat your vegetables.
That's right.
But yeah, awesome. Thank you for joining us. If you made it this far, hope this has helped you. Drop a comment and let us know what your favorite formula is.
And if you go through this exercise, if you go through the hero's journey exercise with a movie or a couple movies, hey, just drop us a comment and say, hey, I did this with Star Wars and boom, 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 or I did this with Superman or whatever it is. Just put that in. Other people will learn from that. We would love to see it.
Yeah, totally. And as always, subscribe
and
and
subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We won't send a guy to your house if you do both, but if you only do one, then look out. Expect a doorbell.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later. Catch you at the next one. Bye-bye.